up.
You're not going to have time to learn about me since I'll be leaving the club, but I love using analogies. So this speech is about leadership using analogies. And the question is, which is the stronger leader? A hammer or a nail? I want you to think about that for a second. Because several years ago, at a TLI session for the President's office, we had a group of people, about 23 people, and they were split up into 3 groups and posed this question. Well, I don't have it where it's going to sit. Just advance it. Yeah. So we had 3 groups of leaders. We split the room up, and there was about 8 people in each group. Now the first group was members that have been an officer of a club several times. How many of you have held an office more than once? So you're part of Team 1. So think about that now. The next group, advance the slide, the second group, they've been an officer only one time since they've been in Toastmasters. Anybody here only been an officer once? Okay. So you're really part of group 2. Now, who do you think the third group was? Yes. So the third group, this was their first time as being an officer attending TLI. They were just elected, but they're not quite officers yet. They're going to learn how to be an officer. How many of you have never been an officer in the club? All right, several of you. So you're part of the Group 3 team. Now they were asked, click, which is the stronger leader, the hammer or the nail? Now you can imagine, there's probably going to be a difference between the 3 groups, don't you think?
Yes.
Because they each have different experience and perception of leadership. Some have never been a leader, and some have been a leader several times. And some may never have experienced a leader in Toastmasters. So let's find out what each team decided. They were given 5 to 10 minutes each to come up with their explanation of which is the stronger leader, a hammer or a nail. And they were told, as soon as they come up with their answer, raise their hand, so we know they're finished and they're ready, and at 10 minutes, we'll get a feedback from each of the groups from one of their spokesperson. So now we're going to see what their spokesperson said. Team 1 answered the hammer. Because the hammer is the leader, and it pounds into the members what the leader wants them to do. Does anybody ever experienced a leader that pounded into you what they want?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there could be times where that's needed, right? And there could be times where it maybe seems a bit too much. Maybe they're being too powerful. So think about it. Is that a right answer or a wrong answer? We'll see. The next team, they weren't sure. After 5-10 minutes, they couldn't come to a conclusion. So they arbitrarily decide, we'll go with what Team 1 said, because that sounds reasonable. Now remember, Team 2 was people that have served as a leader before. But maybe they haven't served enough or had the right experience to really decide. But they went along with Team 1, where the leader is the hammer. And you got to pound it into the people of what you want them to do. So the third team now, third team came up with the nails. why would the third team come up with the nails are the stronger leader? Are nails leaders? Well, their explanation is they haven't been an officer and they haven't held a leadership role. So a leader has to lead yourself. And this is a famous stage that John Maxwell preaches. Is before you can lead others, you need to learn how to lead yourself. So from their standpoint, they are the nails, and they are the leaders. And the hammer is the motivation within themselves that drives them to do what they do. Look at our guests. Did anybody force you to come to the Toastmasters meeting? Or did you decide on your own? The hammer was within you, right? Somebody else didn't pound it into you. Anybody else? Anybody that volunteered to be an officer? Were you forced to be an officer? Sometimes you feel obligated, but it really came from within yourself to become an officer. And within yourself, you're also striving to complete your awards and be here every week. Of course, there's outside influences that could prevent you from being here. But to accomplish being here every week, it's the hammer within you that drives you to get here. Along with the hammer within you, strives you to set your goals and strive to accomplish those goals. And that's where you're leading yourself. So you don't have to be leading other people to be a leader. So what I want you to do is I want you to learn to be the nail and lead yourself. And to do this, I want you to get a hold of a nail. At a hardware store, you have something laying around the house, doesn't matter what size or what kind of nail. Hang it on a string and hang it someplace where it will remind you every day to be the nail and lead yourself. Thank you.